In the glorious sunshine and vibrant atmosphere of language not registered for generation in America, we will follow the footsteps of the Dutch Orange Tornadoes. It was a tournament where the Dutch showcased a fiery attacking style, a perfect inheritance of the philosophy of total football, only to be tragically eliminated in a classic quarter-final match against Brazil. 30 years have passed, and those young men are now men who have lived more than half their lives. Time has not only grayed their hair, but also cruelly shaped their individual destinies. Some have become powerful gentlemen on the coaching bench. Some have chosen a secluded life to find peace, and others have faced the harsh crossroads of life. Join us as we delve into the stories of language not registered for generation of the most exemplary souls who made that orange summer immortal. At Language Not Registered for Generation, Dennis Bergkamp was the soul, the softest brushstroke on the attacking canvas of the Orange Tornado. With magical feet and a footballing mind ahead of his time, he was not only a lethal striker in the penalty box, but also a true artist. Bergkamp's performance in the U.S., with his 3 precious goals, brilliantly showcased the instincts of a genius, capable of transforming the most difficult situations into masterpieces. After this tournament, his career took a great turn at Arsenal, where he became an immortal icon, a monument erected in front of the Emirates Stadium. His life was a series of brilliant glories, but also associated with the nickname, the Dutchman who doesn't fly, due to his famous fear of airplanes, a detail that seemed to reflect his life's yearning for absolute stability and safety. Off the pitch, Bergkamp was an extremely private, calm, and proper man, a complete contrast to the explosive energy he displayed on the field. He devoted himself entirely to his family, stayed away from the glitz and glamour of football's showbiz world, and always maintained the elegant demeanor of a gentleman. After retiring, he briefly joined the coaching staff at Ajax, but then chose to step back to enjoy a peaceful life. What is thought-provoking is the strange connection between his refined playing style and his everyday life. Both exude a sense of perfection, cleanliness, and immaculateness. Today, at Language Not Registered for Generation, Dennis Bergkamp lives a tranquil life with his family in his hometown, his journey continuing to inspire younger generations of players with his relentless effort and noble character, demonstrating the power of football when combined with the soul of an artist. Ronald Koeman entered the Language Not Registered for Generation World Cup as captain, a rock in defense, and a formidable threat from set pieces. In that team, he was not only a steel defender, but also the orchestrator of the entire game with his perfectly accurate long passes. Nicknamed the Cannon, Koeman's free kicks were always a nightmare for any goalkeeper. After the tournament, his career continued to flourish on the coaching bench, where he led top teams like Barcelona and the Netherlands national team. Koeman's life has been a journey full of ambition and effort, but also not without its share of harsh challenges, most notably the heart-related incident in Language Not Registered for Generation that shocked the football world. Off the field, Koeman is outspoken, strong, and decisive, qualities that have helped him withstand the immense pressure of coaching. He always knows how to balance the glamour of the pitch with his private life, with his wife Bartina, who has been with him through the most difficult periods of his life. The connection between his role as a commander on the field and a brilliant strategist in real life seems to be Koeman's destiny. Now, at Language Not Registered for Generation, he is still diligently coaching the Dutch national team. Although no longer at the peak of his form as in his youth, the flame of passion and the leadership of an experienced veteran still burns brightly within him, guiding the younger generation to conquer new heights. Frank de Boer in the USA, in Language Not Registered for Generation, embodied the image of a modern, elegant left-back at the age of Language Not Registered for Generation. With his accurate long passes and extraordinary composure, He was the initiator of the Netherlands' all-out attacks. After the tournament, he and his twin brother Ronald wrote golden chapters in history at Ajax and Barcelona, winning numerous prestigious titles. Frank's career is a testament to professionalism and dedication, but his life after the game was fraught with difficulties as a coach. Failures at Inter Milan and with the Dutch national team left scars of harsh realities on his soul, forcing him to work even harder to regain his former glory. In real life, Frank is a disciplined, serious, and somewhat introverted person. He always strives to protect his family from media scrutiny and finds balance in his philanthropic activities. It's noteworthy that the image of a silent hero on the pitch seems to have become ingrained in his life, forcing him to face the most challenging trials to prove his worth. Today, at language not registered for generation, after the ups and downs on the coaching bench, Frank de Boer is still actively seeking new challenges, playing the role of an experienced mentor, sharing his life lessons with younger players. Every step he took on the field has now transformed into tactical decisions. While success and failure sometimes depend on luck, the spirit of the Orange Warrior within him has never faded. At the age of language not registered for generation, Mark Overmars was the best young player for the Netherlands. At the language not registered for generation World Cup, a true whirlwind on the wing, with his terrifying speed tearing through any defense. He embodied the explosive energy and ambition of youth. After the tournament in the USA, his career flourished brilliantly with Ajax, Arsenal, and Barcelona before persistent knee injuries forced him into early retirement. Overmars then turned to management and achieved resounding success as director of football at Ajax. However, tragedy struck in language not registered for generation when an off-field scandal caused his illustrious career to collapse in an instant, accompanied by serious health problems. What is thought-provoking is the stark contrast between the image of a speed warrior on the football field and a man who suffered painful setbacks in real life. Off the field, Overmars possessed a keen business mind, but lacked balance in his behavior, leading to regrettable mistakes. However, through his efforts to rise above his failures, he is gradually finding peace and trying to atone for past mistakes through social activities. Now at language not registered for generation years old, after recovering from a serious illness, Overmars is taking on a management role at a small club in Belgium, living a quieter life to reflect on what has happened. His legacy is a thought-provoking life story about glory, mistakes, and redemption. At language not registered for generation, Frank Rijkaard was a legend, an artist in midfield with a graceful and masterful style of play. That World Cup was his last major tournament before retiring from international football. After his glory in the USA, Rijkaard transitioned to coaching and created a brilliant era at Barcelona, discovering and nurturing the talent of Lionel Messi. However, in contrast to that dazzling success, Rijkaard seemed to always yearn for a quiet life, far from the noise of the media. He made a shocking decision to completely leave top-level football when he felt he had contributed enough. Off the field, Rijkaard was a sensitive, art-loving man with a profoundly deep philosophy. He chose a reclusive lifestyle, dedicating time to his family and personal hobbies, finding peace in tranquility. The connection between a silent hero on the field and a soul yearning for peace off the field seems like a perfect unity. Now, at language not registered for generation, Frank Rijkaard lives a very private life, his every step no longer on the green grass, but a relaxed stroll through real life. He remains an endless source of inspiration, a personality who knew how to let go of the spotlight to find himself, a legacy not only of goals, but also of an admirable philosophy of life. At the age of language not registered for generation, Ed de Goey was the first-choice goalkeeper for the Netherlands at the language not registered for generation World Cup, With his long reach and lightning-fast reflexes, he was the guardian of the hopes of the Dutch nation under the golden sun of America. De Goey's performance helped the Netherlands withstand the immense pressure from their opponents. After the tournament, he moved to Chelsea and became one of the most successful goalkeepers in the early history of the London club. His career is a model of stability and reliability, but like many of his teammates, he chose a quiet path after retiring. In real life, De Goey is a family man, living simply and extremely modestly. He's not interested in the glitz and glamour of the media, instead focusing on youth development in his hometown. It seems the image of a silent hero in defense has strangely influenced his life, allowing him to find joy in his quiet contributions behind the scenes. Now, at language not registered for generation, Ed De Goey lives a peaceful life with his family, occasionally appearing as a goalkeeping coach to pass on his experience to the next generation. His journey is proof that a passionate love of football doesn't necessarily need to be accompanied by fanfare. In language not registered for generation, Wim Jonk was a talented attacking midfielder with thunderous long-range shots and keen tactical awareness at the age of language not registered for generation. He was the one who scored crucial goals that helped the Netherlands overcome their most difficult moments. After the World Cup, Jonk's career flourished at Inter Milan and PSV before he turned to coaching and management. Jonk's most notable achievement after retirement was his reformist spirit. He fought alongside Johan Cruyff for the traditional values of Dutch football at the Ajax Academy. Off the field, Jonk is an independent, determined, and sometimes stubborn individual who defends his football philosophies. He strives to balance work and personal life, finding peace in his research and teaching of football. The connection between a silent hero in midfield and a real-life football innovator seems like a perfect continuation. Now, at language not registered for generation, Wim Jonk is still dedicated to coaching, acting as an experienced mentor to young players. His passion remains strong, and every step he took on the pitch has now become a valuable lesson for the future of football in his country. At the age of language not registered for generation, Ronald de Boer was a versatile and crucial piece in the language not registered for generation Netherlands national team. With his masterful individual technique and ability to play in multiple positions, he was a constant source of attacking impetus. After the tournament in the USA, his career was intertwined with the success of Ajax, Barcelona, and Rangers. Ronald was always loved for his professionalism and sociable personality. Unlike his brother Frank, Ronald chose a path more focused on media and football ambassadorship after his retirement. Off the field, Ronald is an extrovert, friendly, and incredibly polite. He dedicates much of his time to football commentary and promoting youth football globally. The connection between a versatile player on the field and an active ambassador off the field seems to be perfectly consistent. Now, at language not registered for generation, Ronald de Boer continues to play the role of an experienced mentor, frequently appearing in the media to share his thoughts on football and life. He lives a fulfilling life with his family and continues to inspire the younger generation with his ever-present smile and optimism. At language not registered for generation, Aaron Winter was a model defensive midfielder who brought balance to the Netherlands game at the language not registered for generation World Cup. With his fierce fighting spirit and excellent tackling ability, he scored the crucial winning goal against Brazil in the quarterfinals. After the tournament, Winter's career flourished at Lazio and Inter Milan, where he became one of the most successful Dutch players in Italy. He was the kind of player who always gave his all for the team without ever demanding individual recognition. Off the field, Winter is a calm, thoughtful person with an exemplary lifestyle. After retiring, he embarked on a coaching career and achieved success at Toronto FC, MLS, as well as on the national team's coaching staff. The connection between a warrior on the field and a dedicated mentor off the field is a natural transition. Now, at Language Not Registered for Generation 2, Aaron Winter continues to play the role of an experienced senior figure, advising on youth football projects. Every step he took on the field has now become invaluable life experience that he passes on to his students, a testament to the tireless efforts of a dedicated former soldier. At Language Not Registered for Generation, Jan Wouters was the most experienced midfielder for the Netherlands in Language Not Registered for Generation. With his fearless, sometimes aggressive playing style, he was a solid anchor protecting the defense. Wouters embodied the Dutch steely spirit, always ready to sacrifice for the team's success. After his glory in the USA, he transitioned to coaching and became one of the most respected assistant coaches in Dutch football, having worked at Ajax, Rangers, and Bayern Munich. In real life, Wouters is an extremely serious, disciplined person with a very simple lifestyle. He always avoids the media frenzy and focuses all his energy on his work. It's noteworthy that the image of a warrior on the field seems to have become ingrained in his life, making him a quiet figure behind the team's success. Today, at Language Not Registered for Generation T, Jan Wouters lives a peaceful life with his family, occasionally appearing to share his experience with young coaches. His journey is proof that true glory sometimes doesn't need to be ostentatious. At Language Not Registered for Generation So, Brian Roy was a dangerous winger with speed and dribbling skills. In the US, in Language Not Registered for Generation, he made his mark with artistic touches. After the tournament, his career spanned several clubs in Italy, England, and Germany. Roy was a player who played with pure emotion, but his life off the pitch took a completely unexpected and controversial turn when he became embroiled in legal troubles and online conspiracy theories. What is thought-provoking is the strange contrast between a gentle artist on the pitch and a man with extreme social views off the field. Off the pitch, Roy seems to have lost the composure and finesse he once displayed. However, despite the turmoil, he still receives attention from fans for his brilliant youth. Now, at Language Not Registered for Generation 10, Brian Roy lives a relatively quiet life after the controversies, trying to find balance in his private life. His story is a valuable lesson about maintaining one's image and remaining level-headed in the face of life's upheavals after leaving the spotlight of football. Off the court, he is a cheerful, sociable man who deeply loves his children. He chose to step away from the coaching bench to focus on business and community activities. The connection between a silent hero on the court and an exemplary father off the court is a happy transformation for Rob. Today at Language Not Registered for Generation So, Rob Witschke lives a peaceful life with his family, occasionally appearing in legendary matches to satisfy his longing for the sport. His journey is proof that sometimes the greatest glory is peace of mind. Gaston Taument, at the age of Language Not Registered for Generation, was a delightful discovery on the right wing for the Netherlands in Language Not Registered for Generation A with his blistering speed. He scored the Netherlands' first goal of the tournament that year. Taument's career was marked by his loyalty to Feyenoord before his brief stints abroad. He was a simple, effective player who always gave his all whenever given the chance. After retiring, Taument returned to Feyenoord to work in youth development. In real life, he is an extremely calm, reserved, and exemplary person. He finds joy in polishing the raw talents for his country's football. It seems that the image of a speed warrior on the pitch has transformed into the passion he has for teaching in real life. Now, at Language Not Registered for Generation 10, Gaston Taument is living a stable and fulfilling life with his family, continuing to inspire the younger generation at the Feyenoord Academy, a testament to the tireless efforts of a man who has always considered football his life's purpose. Stan Valks, at age language not registered for Generation Me, was a seasoned center back who provided solidity to the Dutch defense in language not registered for generation. With his intelligent play and excellent leadership skills, he displayed remarkable composure under the American sun. After retiring from playing, Valks did not pursue a coaching career, but instead transitioned into football management, becoming a successful technical director at PSV Eindhoven and several other clubs. Off the field, Valks is intelligent, decisive, and possesses a keen tactical vision for team building. He always knows how to balance his busy work schedule with his private life. The connection between a rock on the pitch and a powerful manager off the field seems like an inevitable development. Now, at language not registered for generation years old, Stan Valks continues to play the role of an experienced senior figure in football management, living a successful life and still contributing his valuable knowledge to the development of professional football. In language not registered for generation. At the age of language not registered for generation, Edwin van der Sar was only the second-choice goalkeeper behind Ed de Goey and hadn't had a chance to play a single minute in the U.S. However, that summer forged him into one of the greatest goalkeepers in world football history. After the tournament, his career flourished at Ajax, Juventus, and especially Manchester United. Van der Sar then transitioned to management and became CEO of Ajax, leading the club back to its peak. However, he also recently experienced a serious health setback in language not registered for generation that left the world praying for his recovery. Off the field, Van der Sar is an icon of elegance, intelligence, and an unyielding spirit that never gives up in the face of adversity. He is a model family man, always standing by his wife through life's storms. The bond between a great goalkeeper on the field and a visionary manager off the field is proof of his all-around excellence. Now, at language not registered for generation Osan, after recovering from a serious illness, Edwin van der Sar is in the process of recovery and spending precious time with his family. The flame of passion and iron within him still burns brightly, and every step he takes is still followed by fans with boundless respect for a legend.